Hello friends, yesterday we saw how Samar with Prachi sitting behind him rode his bike at full speed to collect money from Bakhtavar, and soon the police were chasing after him. And now, welcome to episode 23. If you here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you are enjoying the story, make sure to like, comment and share. Let's begin today's episode 23. Zia's pretty face turned angry when she watched the bike disappear. She hit her small pink hand on the steering wheel in anguish and said through gritting teeth in anger, "Today you have escaped from my hands, but next time nobody will be able to save you from my hands." They were in the city. The roads were extremely crowded. There were already more than 10 cars parked in front of Chia. There was no way to her to catch the bike. She would only catch as it disappeared from her sight. Then she remembered something and took out her mobile and said, "You have angered me. Now I will catch you." Just took out her phone and dialed the number of the traffic police superintendent. As soon as she picked up the phone, a stern but worried voice came from the other side. "Officer Jia, tell me what happened now." He was the traffic police superintendent and was training with Jia in the police academy. They were very close, but today Ziaz had troubled him by calling him repeatedly. But he knew that, even though Jia was now transferred to the traffic police team, she could come back to the police team anytime. Jia said in a cold voice, with her face turning red with anger, "SP Soro, can you help me check a black bike?" It was moving at a very high speed on the LIG road, due to which I could not catch it and it slipped out of my hands. When you track it, let me know and I will catch it myself. Soro also said in a soft voice, "Okay, I will track the location and send it to you." Saying this, he hung up the phone and started tracking the black bike mentioned by Jia. But he was a bit surprised. He could not understand what problem Jia had with this one bike. If it was not caught, then it was fine. What was such a big deal that the traffic police asked the SP to track the bike? But still, he tracked the bike and sent it to Jia. Jia opened the message and saw the location of the bike. But it had gone far away from her. Jia whispered in a cold voice, "Hub, I will not rest until I catch you." Saying this, she restarted the vehicle and moved quickly towards the bike. Prachi pointed towards an old board in front and said, "Samar, that Shivdar Dhaba is the base of the Eagle Gang." Her beautiful face had turned pale. Samar's bike turned his head forward and saw a small board ahead. This board was just 50 meters away from them. The entire land around it was barren and the road was rough and hollow. There was an old dhaba 10 meters behind the board. He stopped the bike in front of the dhaba and sent to Prachi with a smile. "Prachi, let's go inside." Fear was visibly clear on the Prachi's beautiful face. She softly said, "Samar, there are more than a dozen goons inside. I am afraid we don't to be able fight them." He had heard that all these goons are scoundrel and do bad things. What if they beat both of them? Prachi did not have the courage to tease those goons. Even though she had reached in front of the dhaba, she didn't dare to go inside. Someone knew that Prachi was scared. He consoled her and said, "Prachi, don't worry, let's go inside. These goons cannot stand against me." Saying this, he held her hand and started going inside the Shivdha dhaba. There was a ramp at the entrance of the entry, on which many bikes were parked. Dozens of goons with colorful hair and strange clothes were sitting on the ground, eating and drinking. They were surrounded by beer bottles and barbecue stand. There was a lot of hustles and bustles. The goons were having a good time. They were shirtless and their arms had tattoos. They were taking big swings of beer and eating big pieces of meat. When they saw Samar and Prachi coming towards them, one of the tall men asked in a cold voice, "Who are you and what do you want?" Samar frowned and said softly, "Are you the leader of the gang? And if you not, call him. I am here to meet him." The man smelled very strongly of alcohol, which Samar didn't like at all. The tall man picked up the beer bottles and said drunkenly, "Meeting our boss is no cakewalk. If you want to save your life, leave from here immediately. Don't ruin my mood anymore." A flash of coldness appeared in Samar's eye, and he said in cold voice, "I give you 3 seconds. Tell your boss to come and meet me. Otherwise, don't blame me later if I raise my hand." The tall man made a face and said, "Who are you? And how dare you threaten me? This is the Eagle Gang. Now see what happens to you." His face had turned dark and he moved forward with the beer bottle. He wanted to teach Summer a tough lesson so that he could know what the Eagle Gang was and what happens to those who try to mess with the Eagle Gang. Prachi held Summer's hand tightly when she looked at the scurrying Tolgun. His handsome face was terrifyingly white. She said in a trembling voice, "Summer, this man is holding a beer bottle. What if he breaks the bottle on us? I think we should leave from here." Girls are timid and are naturally afraid of goons. Moreover, the goons had red hair. His arms were covered with old cuts and scars and tattoos. He was clearly not a good guy. Summer patted Prachi's delicate hand and looked at her with a reassuring look. "Don't worry, I will break his hand before he can even touch us." In his eyes, tall man was very weak. He could blow him out of the air with one punch. In front of the Shadow King, everyone was weak, whom he could easily defeat. Suddenly, the man's eye fell on Prachi. He looked at Prachi and said, "Oh, there is a beautiful girl here too." And his eyes became hot. Although the Eagle Gang had a bunch of goons, they were all men. There was not a single girl among them, and looking at Prachi, he felt as if an eagle had descended from the sky and appeared in front of them. To him, Prachi's beautiful face and curvaceous body all looked very attractive to him. This made his blood boil. The tall goons took a swing of beer and angrily told Samar, "If you want to save your life, leave this girl here and get out of here yourself." When Samar heard the words of the tall goon, his face turned gloomy and his eyes shone coldly. He said to himself, "How dare you even threaten me and cast your dirty eyes on Prachi? No one can save you now. Some people just need a beating." He decided to solve this problem with his punch. Samar gave a hard punch to the goons with his right hand. He was as fast as lightning and instantly grabbed the beer bottle from the tall man's hand. He swung it in the arc of the air and smashed it brutally on his head. The beer bottle hit the man's head and there was a loud noise. This caused a huge wound on the head and blood started flowing. He fell on the ground and started moaning loudly. His head was covered in blood and he let out a shrill scream. He looked at Samar with horrible eyes. This man was very fast. He didn't not get time to react and the bottle hit his head. Dozens of goons present in the dhaba were shocked to hear the man's screams. Just then Samar and Prachi heard a loud voice. "Brothers, let's finish this man. This man has come here to create a ruckus." The dozen of goons ran towards him with sticks and surrounding Samar. Then one of the goons started at Samar angrily and said, "Who are you? How dare you kill our friend? It seems you don't want to live anymore." Another man growled angrily and said, "Didn't you look around? No one dares to mess with us in the surrounding 10 miles." Another one threatened Samar and said, "Even God cannot save you today. Just tell me, how do you want to die?" The goons around were abusing and arrogant. These people were used to being arrogant. They had just drunk alcohol and had become even more arrogant. Samar did in a cold voice, "Tell your leaders to meet me, otherwise you will have to the same fate as him." He raised a finger and pointed at the tall goons, who was still screaming on the ground. Just then, arrogant voice ahead, I want to see who is so brave to come to meet me." And the middle-aged man come out of the room inside the dhaba. The middle-aged man was tall, dressed in black, well-built, and looked like he was full of strength. It was clear that this was the result of long hours of workout in the gym and steroids. He stood there like a gorilla. The man stood in front of Summer and said in a stern voice, "I am the boss of Eagle Gang, Bakhtawar. Everyone calls me Bakhtawar Bhai. Who are you? Tell me your name." The man named Bakhtawar was standing in front and said proudly, he should know that within a radius of 10 miles, any person would turn pale on hearing his name. He wanted to see if the person in front of him knew him or not. Maybe the person would pee in his pants on hearing his name. Summer didn't answer him for some time and kept looking at him silently. Seeing him staring like this, Bakhtawar got even more angry and his eyes started turning red with anger. When Samar saw his growing anger, he looked into Bakhtawar's eyes and said, "My name is Samar. I work in the sales department of Agarwal Industries and have come to here to take 1 crore rupee of the company from you." Bakhtawar looked into his eyes and asked, "What? If I refuse to give the money?" Smiling at him, Samar said, "I suggest you give me the money. Otherwise, you will not to be able to bear the consequence." Bakhtawar gave a cold smile, a cold gleam in his eyes and threatened Samar. "Friend, the person who come to take money from me before you, I broke his hand. Did you still want money after knowing this?" Samar put his hands behind his back and said proudly, "Yes, hand over 1 crore rupee to me, then I will let you too. Otherwise, you don't blame me for what happened next." Bakhtawar widened his eyes and pretending to be scared and said, "Hmm, leave me, brother. I beg in front of you. Let me go." After saying this, he laughed loudly and said in a threatened tone, "Do you think I will be afraid of your zagal threats? On the contrary, I think that even after I break your arm, you will still have the same fearlessness in your eyes." Summer whispered coldly, For breaking one of my arm, I am afraid whether you will even survive or not." The attitude and pride on his face was even more than the armor. Even though there was a strong armored man more than 6 feet tall and more than a dozen of his men standing in front of him. Summer was not worried at all. In front of him, all these peoples were weak. Even if more people come, they would not be able to compete with him to a shadow king. A single ship and 30 sheep were no different. Neither of them was a threat to the shadow king. Both were his food. Bakhtawar's face turned sad. His muscles contracted as he shoved off his explosive power and said, "Friend, I have broken the arm of 49 people so far. You have a chance to complete the half century." saying this is slammed his foot on the ground, and a crater as big his foot was formed on the ground. He suddenly swung his right hand and threw a powerful punch towards Samar. The punch created a whirling sound in the air. This is called the wind whirling fist. It was invented by a martial arts master using the theory of tornadoes. It was very terrifying, and each punch produced a whirling sound in the air. Summer slammed his foot on the ground and jumped into the air, and the next moment he stood right in front of Bakhtavar. Such a fast beat! Bakhtavar's face changed a little, and surprise was visible in his eyes. Summer's speed was very fast. It was much faster than he had thought. He knew that even he did not have the much speed. Not only that, none of the powerful fighters had seen that much speed. The speed was almost as fast as bullet. Summer attacked and his punch collided with Bakhtawar's punch. There was a loud explosion in the air. It felt as if a bomb had exploded in the air. Ah! Bakhtavar screamed loudly and he flew 10 meters in the air and fell down stumbling. His hands broke with a single punch from Summer. His face turned pale due to the stinging pain. What will Bakhtavar do now? Will he give the money to Summer or will he attack him instead? To find out what happened next, make sure to subscribe to the channel Sukoon FM English. If you enjoy the story, please like, comment, and share also the story.